Hello, it's 10 o'clock, December 14th, 2020, and welcome to the weather update. Just showing you some of the beautiful Christmas lights around Mineola. Fortunately, what I've been dealing with, it's mostly gone. Just having stomach effects. That's pretty much it. And I never had any issues breathing. That's why I don't think it's COVID. I don't know what the heck it was, but never had any issues breathing. No, yeah, not even much congestion either, except for my ears. I have worse congestion when I have a cold. Just whatever this is, I just want it to go away completely. Still have it, still affecting my stomach, of course. But anyway, no, I'm not getting tested. I'm not gonna wait in a line in this cold weather to get tested. All right, you know. I don't have to get tested. All right, so I know some people are saying get tested. I appreciate the advice, but I don't think that's needed at this time. But anyway, let's take a look at these. Yes, beautiful Christmas lights around Mineola. Uh, there's some here and some here, and these Christmas lights are probably going to look a whole lot nicer in a couple of nights with some snow on the ground. So let's take a look at the weather right now. So we're finally clearing it out. You can see there's that storm system that brought us the rain, that chilly, nasty rain today that we had. That didn't end until like after 5 o'clock, and finally moved on out. And now we have mostly clear sky for the evening. And if you look toward the constellation of Orion, and I did tonight for a few minutes, I got to see a shooting star because we have a meteor shower, or the tail end of a meteor shower, occurring tonight. So here is the satellite, so mostly clear skies. And looking at the current weather map, we'll pull this out. We'll show you what's coming our way. So let me go to the Climate Prediction Center here. I'm at the Weather Prediction Center. So we take a look and see what's going to be occurring. So right now, here's our storm getting itself together right now. It's over Colorado. This is the storm that's already moving away from us. And this is the high that's going to be building down from eastern Canada, supplying us with the cold air. Looking at the current conditions across the area right now, we are in the mid-30s. And some areas the winds have picked up a little bit. We have some gusts up to 23, but not a lot of wind out there. And the ground is still wet from the rain, and it's starting to freeze, so something to be careful of when you're out there. I noticed that it's a little slippery out there. And you'll see here, it was a cold day today. Temperatures mainly in the 30s all day today. So let me look at the rainfall for today. Gotta go to the historical here. We'll look at the rainfall. Let me find it. Yeah, no, we need the one from. I don't know why it does that. It should stop. It should default from midnight. So this is the rainfall. Not a terrible lot of rain. As expected, we got around a quarter of an inch most areas on Long Island. A little more to the south. Looks like more like a half an inch over central New Jersey. But let's go look at the models and see where our next storm is taking shape right now. So here's the high that's going to be building down, supplying the cold air. The good news is the sun will be out tomorrow. So let's start with the upper air pattern. So here's that trough coming through. Here comes that southern stream shortwave. As we come into tomorrow, we'll have fair skies, but still going to be cold. Temperatures only in the mid-30s probably, so a little bit below normal. And here comes that shortwave, and it's going to dig into the trough and form this coastal storm off to the south right there. That's going to pass to our south on late Wednesday night to Thursday, bringing us the chance for snow. That moves away, and then we could have, it looks like there's another storm system here that could phase with a storm system next week. That looks like a pretty deep trough right there too, so it could be having a nice little plunge attached to it as well. But we're mainly focused on the storm that we are going to be dealing with Wednesday night into Thursday, because it's looking more and more likely like a snowfall event. So here comes the system. You can see there it is, and you can see that troughiness lingering there for a little bit. All right, so you can see not too many major differences between the euro and the GFS. We're going to look at the surface now. So here is our storm taking shape. Starts to take shape in the lower Midwest, but it's the coastal that really is going to be the dominant low in this storm. So this is the 18Z GFS. Here's your coastal storm taking shape off the Virginia coast, off the Delmarva, and it looks like it takes a very close track to us. And here it is. It looks like we're dry for most of Wednesday. We start seeing the precipitation move in after 7 o'clock Wednesday night, and then it gets heavy as you get into the overnight from Wednesday night to Thursday morning. Heavy precipitation tapering off Thursday afternoon with this low, and you can see the tight isobars too that it has. But you can see that you've got this high building down at the same time. So this high is going to help keep this low suppressed somewhat. This high will supply the cold air for the snow. And you can see there's the track, and there are tracks just to our south. It is a close track, so that's why I have my doubts it's going to be an 100% snow event for most of Long Island. I think there's going to be some mixing at some points. Here is the GFS again. You can see, especially for New Jersey, it has some heavy rain over New Jersey, the Jersey Shore, but just north of that is heavy snow over Long Island. And the issue is the wind. We still have water temperatures of 50 degrees, so I'm going to keep it at this here so you can get an idea of what the issue is. So let me draw this up here. So we still have water temperatures near 50 offshore. All right, so if the wind is coming like this, that puts in some warm air. And that's why I think that there's going to be some mixing involved on Long Island with that warm air. It doesn't mean we're not going to see snow, but it's going to hold down the totals a little bit. At least this is my thinking. Okay, I'm not making a forecast yet. Some people have already made a forecast. I'm waiting until tomorrow night to do that. I'm not going to do that. I can give you some general guesses, but right now I'm a little issued with these water temperatures. All right, because again we got to look at the winds, because ideally you'd want the storm a little further offshore, a little further to the south, and a little stronger. So we can look at if we look at the winds and the wind direction, this tells you where the winds are coming from. And so there's a big easterly component, especially at the onset. I think as the storm goes on, I think you're more likely to see the snow more toward the early morning hours. As the winds go more northerly and you get some more cold air involved. There will be some pretty strong winds involved too with this. I mean, it's a typical nor'easter, but it's just the center is so close to our area. And usually when you have a center so close, that would help to keep some rain mixed into the picture. Let's look at some of the other models here. The NAM 12 kilometer as well. NAM also seems to move it along a little faster. See that NAM's got a due easterly wind almost for the overnight. That is not a favorable wind direction for snow. Not with the water temperatures the way they are. If this was February, obviously it would be a different story. So look at the rain. So you see it does mix it in. As literally has a line sitting in it. Depending on where you are in Long Island, it could even make a big difference. Like the South Shore and the East End may see rain, while the North Shore sees heavy snow. The heaviest totals are definitely more likely along the North Shore. Lower totals on the South Shore. In the middle, somewhere in between that. You can see if you're in Jersey, if you're in Ocean County, especially if you're in Toms River, you could really luck out and not get much of any snow. Well, if you want snow, then you might not luck out, but I mean, look, I don't really want a huge snowstorm. You can see the mixing issues that are going to occur, I believe, throughout this storm here, right? This is the NAM. All right, you can see, and the NAM starts it a little faster. NAM moves this thing along a little faster, moves it out a little quicker too. Now, if we look at the map, the accumulation map, first look at the total accumulated precip on the NAM, you will see it's got a fairly spread out 1 to 2 inches of liquid equivalent across the area. If we look at the total snowfall, you could see that the NAM is giving us close to 10 inches in certain parts of the island. Like I said, I think it's a little high considering. And then if you're in Tom's River, which is over here, you might get nothing. So, very interesting. Well, we get a lot of snow. Tom's River may not get anything. And then if you go to the highest amounts are going to be in the north and west, where it won't change over at all. And this is where you could see those foot-plus amounts. Northern New Jersey, lower Hudson Valley, Connecticut, those areas right there. So this is what the GFS has. I mean, that's what the NAM has. Let's go back to the GFS here. Of course, the GFS has very low resolution, so it's very hard to even read this. But it seems like it has, I see the pinkish, so it looks like it seems to be in agreement with the GFS. Doesn't seem to have the heavy snow going as extent as far north, and it has a fairly sharp cutoff, which I agree with because, again, you're going to have that high over here. But you can see that there's just going to be a band that's literally going to set up of heavy snow where the heavy snowfall amounts are. It may only be like maybe 30 to 50 miles wide, maybe, if that. But it all depends on the wind direction, and I just don't see high amounts on Long Island with the easterly winds. I just don't see how that can happen. Even though you have a cold air mass, you have warm ocean water. So I am thinking that northern New Jersey, lower Hudson Valley, Connecticut area is probably going to see the highest amounts. And like I said, if you're in Ocean County, Tom's River, you may not get much of anything. So, yeah, so this is going to be a real interesting type of event. Very tough to forecast, too. Although we do have some agreement on the models. So let me go look at some of the other models. We have the RGM also. All right, we need the 18Z. This is the RGM snowfall totals. But see, I don't like focusing on these snowfall total maps. This is the RGM. You can see a really sharp cutoff there. An RGM gives the North Shore close to a foot, the South Shore more like 7 or 8 inches. Still think this is overdone. But there's such a sharp cutoff. So let's back again. I don't like getting hung up on these output maps, forecast maps, because I think they're too overdone. So here comes the storm. This is the RGM now. And you can see how close that line is. I'm sorry, but with the line so close to Long Island, I don't see how that rain is not going to get into Long Island. I just don't see how. It's going to hold the totals down on Long Island, especially East End down into the North Shore is where you're more likely to get hammered. It's going to be a big difference in totals where whenever we do get this forecast together tomorrow, I think there's going to be a big difference between the North Shore and South Shore. And I mean, a difference, you could see be a difference between like 5 or 6 inches at least. And if you're in New Jersey, like I said, Tom's River, it's looking likely you're not really going to see much snow at all. So this is, you see very little, and then it moves on out. And there it moves on out by later on Thursday. Again, this seems to have a little, RGM seems to have a little bit of a quicker movement here. But, I mean, look at how close the center is to Long Island. I just don't understand why it's generating heavy snow so close to the center, because usually you don't see that, especially because you're going to have that easterly flow. So that's why I'm perplexed with why the models are putting this out, and that's why I'm scratching my head and thinking, why? Why are they doing this? and why sometimes you have to think outside of the box with these models and kind of scale it back a little bit. But look at that. I mean, that's insane. So that is the RGEM model there. We can look at the ICON model too. So the ICON model here. You're going to be pretty much focused on this storm. So here is the ICON model. Similar idea. They all seem to mix rain in on Long Island. And with that mix of rain coming in on Long Island, I just don't see how anyone's going to see a foot of snow on Long Island. The most likely areas would be the North Shore. But as far as the middle of the island goes, I don't know. This is the ICON, which might be a little more accurate. It's got the North Shore more like 7 or 8, the South Shore closer to 3 or 4. We'll get snow on the ground for sure. I think that's pretty likely. But as far as seeing these totals that I've seen floating around in some areas, I think it's way too early to say that right now. But this will be a plowable snow for most of Long Island, yes. So let's look at those models. And let me go back to the GFS here. And we're going to look at our temperatures. So let's go ahead and look at that. So this gives you an idea of the cold air that's coming into play. All right, so tomorrow you'll see highs only be in the mid-30s, dropping back into the 20s. We go back into the mid-upper 30s maybe for Wednesday, and then here comes the storm. You can see there's a lot of warm air here. And I just, with the center so close, I just don't see how some of that is not going to come in and erode. I mean, the cold air will be here at the low levels, but will it be thick enough to support all the snow that this thing is trying to put out? And then after that, that leaves it's cold, obviously. Nice cold day, cold night, and cold day on Friday. And it's going to be kind of a chilly weekend, too, with highs only in the 30s. All right. I just don't see it. So we'll have to wait and see, obviously. But I'll give you a first guess of what I think could wind up happening. So here's the skies. Let's look at tomorrow. At least tomorrow, we might be able to eke out a mostly clear day. I think there'll be some cirrus around. We'll be dealing with clouds, obviously, Wednesday, Thursday, and probably Friday, too. Maybe by the later part of the afternoon, we can get rid of the clouds. Friday. Let me look at the NAM. As far as the clouds go, and this is the 0Z NAM, which, well, we can use the 0Z for tomorrow. It's all I'm really interested for tomorrow. So it looks like it tries to keep some of that cirrus away. So we may get lucky and have a clear day tomorrow. At least maybe for out east on the Long Island Pine Barrens, there might be enough sunshine. And the clouds roll back in on us tomorrow. Roll back in on us on Wednesday, and then we have plenty of clouds, obviously, to deal with after that. So let's go to windy.com. This will be the next model. This is the European model. So we were looking at some of these European snowfall amounts, which were up there. So we're going to do this again. New snow next 3 days. So you can see it's still putting crazy amounts of snow out, which this is just overdone. I'm not even going to overdone. Completely overdone. Because we're going to look at the wind. And we're going to look at the wind on Wednesday. And you're going to look at where the wind is coming from. All right, it's coming from the east. It's 5 p.m. We're still getting an east wind. How are you going to get heavy snow with the wind coming off water temperatures that are in the upper 40s and to around 50? I just don't see it. I don't know why the models keep doing this. It won't be until we get here. We are at 1 a.m. We're still seeing that a large easterly component. We have to wait until 8 a.m. to finally get more of a northerly component that would make this precipitation mostly snow at this point. So that's why I don't agree with these amounts. I think they're way too high. So let's go look at the wind gusts here, because this is also going to be a concern, obviously, is the wind with the storm. That's the other concern. This will be a nor'easter, so you're going to have some strong wind gusts. Here you go. Look at some of these wind gusts, 50s. And of course, if there is heavy snow, you could call it blizzard conditions. I don't know if we'll meet those criteria per se. Because where the highest winds are, the chances are there'll be more mixing of rain, like Montauk, for instance. All right. All right. This is 9 a.m. Thursday. All right. And where there's less wind, you'll be more likely to have snow. If you look at this, you can see it's got the flakes over us. All right. Here's 6 p.m. Wednesday. I just want to show you how the European initializes it. I mean, the European shows some of that mixing getting awfully close. So that's why I think we're going to have some mixing issues. And it's out of here by the afternoon, and then we'll have to dig out whatever we have. And obviously, regardless, don't expect the Long Island Railroad to be running well or at all, especially the main line. So the Babylon branch will have luck on its side because it's elevated, and because it's on the South Shore, which will get less snow to begin with. So we'll have to see what happens. Here are the temperatures for that day. So again, it's the temperatures are also a factor too. So you can see here. You can see, look at the warmer temperatures all over the east end, above 35. That's above freezing. These temperatures are borderline too. This is the other issue. So this is why I don't understand why it's going to depend on where you are on Long Island. It really is. I mean, just looking at this temperature map can kind of tell you everything you need to know here at 5 in the morning. If we put this, let me get my... Nope, I need this back. Change the color of this to green. I mean, if you look at this, you'd see it would probably be raining over here. Alright, it would be raining over here. Alright, in this area, you probably won't see all that much. Alright, when we're just going to be starting to guesstimate, so to speak, here. So that's supposed to be a 3. Alright, 1 to 3 or less, especially Jersey Shore. Alright, in this area here, this is where your numbers will probably be more like 4 to 8. Alright, and the 8 would be more likely in this area here. And then the 12, the foot, would be this area here. Alright, this is just a general idea of what I'm thinking right now. Alright, what could happen. Alright, judging just by looking at these temperatures. Alright, but like I said, I don't see these high amounts of I don't think many areas on Long Island are going to see a foot of snow. I really don't. It's not going to be a widespread snowfall of a foot. I will be surprised, just given what the information we're getting right now. You know. So let me go back to this here. We'll look at a couple of other things on the NAM. And we're going to make this the NAM 12 kilometer. This is the F-Gen. No, I don't want the 0Z. I want the 18Z because it's not going to go far enough out. This is the 850 F-Gen. So you can see, again, easterly winds. So this is why I have my doubts on seeing that we're going to see a 100% snow on Long Island, or an all snow event for Long Island. With that, just the storm center is too close. The oceans are too warm. Yes, you have this high to the north, but you need a stronger storm here. That's the issue. Like, look at the GFS, the same parameter here. Actually, it has the heaviest precipitation off to the south. But again, east winds. These east winds, you need a northeast wind. I know this is 850, but east wind is not, off the water temperatures, off the ocean here, is not going to be supportive of a 100% pure snow event. Despite what the models say. You can see we have a winter storm watch. In fact, I do think we'll see a winter storm warning issued. And this is the Weather Service even put up their own little thing here. I mean, really, guys, 13 inches at Farmingdale, 14 inches at Islip. Meanwhile, only 6 at West Hampton. I don't know if I'm agreeing with this. I just don't see how this is going to happen with an east wind like this. So, and no, I don't want to see that much snow either. I really don't. So this is the Weather Service even put up their own little snowfall map. Here's another snowfall map, and I think it's too much. So here you go. This is their snowfall map. And again, these numbers are too high. These numbers are too high. Cut them in half, at least. They don't have much of a difference between Farmingdale and White Plains, and I think there's going to be a huge difference between Farmingdale and White Plains. So again, I'm just not buying their forecast. It seems like they're just looking at the models and just putting it up like that, not thinking about where the wind is coming from. So let's go back to the Weather Service, and we'll look at some of the marine observations here. Actually, I don't need that. I can just go to this. I don't have to do that. We can take this away. We can go to station plot. And we can just look at these, because these have the buoy observations on here. And no, I don't want precipitation. Why is it still on precipitation? No precipitation. I'm going to have to just refresh this. Two things here. Alright. Doesn't seem like it's showing any buoy observations. Water temperature off Barnegat Bay, 52. Water temperature, 53 off this buoy here at Montauk Point. That's quite warm. See this buoy here. It doesn't have a water temperature report, unfortunately. But you get an idea. The water temperatures are in the 50s. So how you're going to get snow off water temperatures that are in the low 50s? You know, I don't understand what these models are doing. But, you know, I figured I'd tell you because, you know, the other people aren't going to tell you. They're just going to read the models. This is the problem with meteorology. Most today, they just look at the models like, well, there's the forecast. I don't. If I see something is not right and not lining up with the models, I'm going to say something, and I'm gonna continue to have my doubts on these extremely high snowfall totals for Long Island. So with that said, prepare for a snow event. We will have a plowable snow. It will be difficult to get around Thursday morning into Thursday afternoon. We will have to plow probably snow off the roads, but a foot of snow in most of Long Island, I just don't see that. If you're on the North Shore, it's most likely. The rest of the island, I just don't see it. Unless those winds become more northeasterly instead of easterly. But right now, with that easterly flow, I just don't see it. So that's going to wrap up this weather update. I'll keep you posted on this storm. Take care and thank you for watching.